Hello and welcome to the Uprising Show. And today I have a very special guest, Serhii. And Serhii, I want you to take a couple of minutes to introduce yourself in your own words to our listeners.
Hi, Vivek. Thank you so much for this call for the intro. So I'm Serhii Zatsarynin. I'm coming from Ukraine, and all my life I'm about the diagnostics, especially in vitro diagnostics. So that's what I do. That's what I think my passion is, and that's what we do also in Avuleo, our new company that we have created like 2 years ago.
Wonderful. Thank you. Before we go into your company, I love to always go into, where people are coming from. What's your background? So let's go back in time and tell me about your upbringing. Where were you born and raised? And were you entrepreneurial as a kid? And if any of your parents were entrepreneurs?
Yes. So I was born in Kharkiv, Ukraine. This is a city on the eastern side. And my parents were not entrepreneurs at all. So my mom is a doctor and my father is an engineer, and they both think and still thinking that that will be my career during my whole life. Uh, but I can say that my grandma was more entrepreneur based and having more background. So during a kid, I was selling, I don't know, like a Pokemon cards. I was doing some stuff of this kind of an activities, basically whole my life. That's what I can really say. And from other side, I was pushed to go to the engineering, and I was always very much connected to the healthcare. So my mom is a doctor, she was a therapist, and she was on a phone like for 24/7. She was doing some kind of consultancy like each and every moment of my life that I can just remember. And she was treating people, and I was always hearing it on the background. So that's how it was.
That's interesting. And is did your parents migrate to the US, or you are the first one within your family who
Uh,
migrated?
Yeah, so we are still, so when the war started in Ukraine, so we were living in Kiev and under the, like a lot of attacks and all this stuff. So first of all, my wife and kids moved to US, and then basically I joined them like 10 months ago or 9 months ago.
Well, very, very, very disturbing war. I just hope this gets over. It's like I don't even know how long it's been going on. This is just the state of the world we live in. But I just want to say, like, glad to have you in the US. It's the land of opportunity, and you're building something really cool. Hopefully, it can be used all across the world. That's the main thing. Second thing, I noticed that you have a very diverse background. Like you've been like into marketing, business dev, even engineering, and now after doing before we go into entrepreneurship, how did you make these pivots across your career? Like seems like you were like everywhere.
Yes, you may say that. So when I was in the university, I started to be an internship position in a company which was doing the export-import operations. So I was doing the international sales, and we were selling like everything I can say, starting from wheat, oil, like aerospace engines, or like back to something like a butter, or we go for the railway equipment, like anything that was basically able to be sold. So we were selling it. And I had a lot of networking and connections, but I still was about the healthcare. I just want to be in this kind of direction. And somewhere when I was in a bachelor degree on my first course of university, I had a call from one of my peers, and they were building a healthcare company which was starting to do the diagnostics from Siemens Healthineers in Ukraine. They wanted to be the first distributor. And they just call me and say, "Do you want to go for like an interview just to understand? Maybe we have something in common." And I say, "Okay." I was thinking about sales position, but then we were sitting like together, and they tell me, "We don't have any kind of engineering support in Ukraine. How do you feel yourself to be an engineer in a healthcare company and building a great company doing this stuff?" And I say, like, I know nothing about engineering, like almost nothing at that moment. I was never holding a screwdriver in my hand, but I say I'm very fast learner and I can do that. And that was the point. Like I really thanks like to everything about this. So that was the point when I started to be an engineer in an international company. I was during the next 3 years, I had about 25 different trainings and courses for 1, 2, 3 weeks all over the world for the Siemens Healthineers equipment as a service engineer, which is like changing the spare parts. But what was also uncommon for Ukrainian companies, so I was combining the application specialist position as well. So it means that I was not only changing the spare parts, but I was also telling people how to work on the equipment, what kind of applications are inside, what kind of like topics or questions may arise during the checking the results or seeing what's going on. And that was for all lines, for example, like microbiology, hematology, immunology, biochemistry. And we were driving like everything, the first hires. And then in 5 years, we started to have a team of 12 engineers all over Ukraine. I was a service manager. I was managing the whole service activities. And then basically I understood that being an engineer is still the sales. So you need to you need to provide a solution for people. You don't need to service an equipment, but you need to make them be happy, basically, just to get everything done and do this right. And so that's how I was like an engineer, but I still was doing like a sales. And then the more I was in a management position, the more I understand that support and ongoing support and like providing a real stuff solution drives the whole business and everything. So then I switched to something like a more like customer relations or something closer to that point. And I was still in a distributor. And at some point, Siemens Healthineers called me and asked, "So how about you be a country business lead?" And I say, yes, that's why I'm here. So I'm just joining it. And I was driving the whole healthineers, in vitro diagnostics healthineers business in Ukraine for the past 5.5 years.
I mean, I think you're being modest just by saying I was here. It's always it's your domain knowledge and business acumen that you built in the industry that gave them confidence to go with you on that position. A lot of people don't understand there is a very popular role. I know it because I'm someone who transitioned from engineering to business side of the things. But there is a lot of the solution engineers is a big role, which does implementation, also does partly sales, and such an important role. I actually know someone who was not an engineer at all, ended up joining Salesforce because he has worked in healthcare for so long, and when he joined healthcare, the vertical in Salesforce, he joined as a Salesforce solution engineer. He is far from engineering in everything else, but now he thrived even after that. It's like he grew in that role, and he became service delivery manager, and that's how it goes. So it's an interesting path. Not I always feel like when we are young, we are not exposed to these rare, I say like rare paths, which are actually really good. Like there is the path between engineering and, these are the pathways you can take and decide which way you want to go. Like that's kind of how I say it. So it's always interesting to hear and meet people who have those experiences.
Yeah,
Um,
we have a saying that engineer can become whoever you want because he knows how to teach himself. And that's, I think, the real true. So you can do anything. Yeah.
Well, I'll take it as a compliment. Here I am. Not many people were happy when I quit my managerial job, and I was like, "I'm going to be marketing intern," and they were like, "What?" So I was like, "Yeah." All right. So now to your company, Ovulio. So, what was the moment or insight that led to the creation of the company? And also give us a little bit what specific problem does it solve today, and how is it different from existing solutions in the market?
Yeah, so there is like two sides here. So I was always dreaming about some to do something interesting and innovate. That's what I was doing within the Siemens, like doing some stuff, something very interesting, and that was my whole life about. But to make this change, like a big change from C-level position to the entrepreneur position, like I cannot say that I was lacking some kind of confidence, but it was just not a moment. But then during the war, I realized that basically you maybe there can be no be tomorrow like at all, and you need to act today and now. And I was with this feeling for like several months. I was like thinking about this. This is the time to start my own scene, and I need like this is the time. And then we also were planning our third child with my wife. for like many years. And the war also speeded up these things. I had two kids before, and at the moment when we started to conceive with like thinking about starting to conceive with the third kid, appeared that you need to know what kind of ovulation is, what is the cycle. You need to track all this stuff. You need to be very precise. Like really, before that, I was not aware about this information like so much. And then appeared that we were testing at home with the urine sticks. We were testing the ovulation. And I'm from Siemens, so I'm building the huge laboratories and manufacturing facilities for the reagents. And then I come back home and I need like somehow handle the pea sticks that you need to store somewhere, it needs to dries up, then you need to come and check it back. And I really think that this is something that is not a diagnostics as it should be today in 2023 at that moment. So we created this kind of a solution. This is a small device where you need to open it up, put a drop of saliva on the bottom side, close it, and in 42 minutes, we are able to track your ovulation. We are able to say, are you in your fertile period or not? So that's what Avuleo started to be about, coming from my really personal space and coming from the fertility challenges we were having during the third kid concealment.
Well, so the people who are listening, Serhii just showed me a device which opened almost like a shape of a oval and egg shape, and it opened it, and he then took the saliva from his mouth, put it inside it, and that's how you place it, and then you close it, and then within, you said 42 minutes, it tells
Yep.
you, and within 42 minutes it analyzes and tells you based on your saliva if you are in what cycle, if it's your infertile cycle or you're not. Is that the correct
Yes,
explanation?
that's correct. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. So wow, okay, this is really fascinating. So I guess my question is, this is the first time I am seeing any saliva testing in this context, especially in fertility. I guess my question is, I've seen this in hormonal diagnostics because I did that 23andMe test or whatever tests are there, right? And we did it. But so my question is, why is it not that common? That one. And the second thing is, can you explain like the science behind this method? Why is it like how is it working first of all, or how is it better than the traditional method?
Yes. So saliva testing is something that started to be so common and so like shared during the COVID. So before that, we had a lot of solutions that were fine with the blood testing and with the urine testing, and like whole humanity was fine with that. But when the COVID hit, appeared that saliva is one of the liquids that can be measured like really very easily, like in comparison to others, and was very common and very spread wide. So I think everybody, almost everybody in the world had some time testing the antigens of COVID with the saliva or with some kind of thing stuff. And this how the perspective of doctors changed, and they do believe now that saliva can be something very beneficial to the diagnostics. So this is like a narrative that is changing. This is one side. The other
Yeah.
side. So there are many methods already on the market, and a lot of things people already understand and know about saliva testing. So what is under the hood of our device? Somewhere in 1945, there was a discovery made by the scientists that saliva dries up, and whenever the estrogen levels are high, basically during the cycle and during the ovulation especially, the very specific patterns are formed during that moment. And they look like a fern flower, like a fernin. And so the more estrogens are inside of saliva, the more exact and shaped fern flower is made, like patterns of this fernin is created on the dried saliva. So even now, you can buy some kind of a manual microscopes where you should put a drop of saliva, and then you need to check by your eye the specific patterns that are formed during the cycle. So what we did with Ovul, so we created an AI. So this is basically a digital microscope that makes a high resolution photo of the dried saliva. It sends it to the cloud, where now we have an AI companion which helps you to recognize the patterns. And the accuracy of this recognition is tremendous. It's very high. So AI always know what to recognize basically. And that is how we improved the very old century, basically century old methods with new technologies, with AI image recognition and some other stuff.
Wow. Okay. I guess I have a couple of questions to that. One is this the same method used in typical pregnancy tests where you take the urine sample and then it shows you are you pregnant or not? And is that using similar kind of AI and or it's completely different? I'm completely off. It just made me curious that so maybe we can have a more accurate pregnancy test as well if you do it with AI like this. I'm completely off. Do you know that about this, or I'm just like blabbering right now?
So maybe the world is changing so fast that maybe what you're telling is now being created. But what I know, so our method is something new, and nobody did it as of today. So we combined AI with very old methods and just enhanced it. So
Okay,
basically, you can do this for many other applications, but nobody did it for saliva testing.
very interesting. And I guess how did you stumble on this thing? Because it seems like how did you come up like, oh, this is how this will work, and we'll build a tech around this? How that happened?
uh, this is the power of people around you. So I had my CTO, so he was nearby me, and just maybe you can imagine the situation. So I'm trying to do some stuff at home with my wife, and we are doing all this. I'm in it like totally, and then I know that this is something that like not it should be. And then I meet like I know Igor, who is my CTO for many years, and I ask him, Igor, how do you think? Can we create a small microscope that can be used at home for checking the patterns made of the saliva, or even I was not mentioning, just very small digital microscope that we can use easily at home. And if yes, so what will be the price? And my idea was that the price will be something like 500 or like 400, something like unimaginable. And he tells that yes, I can do it, and very fast, and the price will be like I don't know, like $50. And I say, okay, let's go. How to do this? Oh, and I was so much enlightened by his answer that we basically started the Avuleo at the
Wow,
very same moment.
wow.
Yeah.
We gotta give a shout out to your CTO. He's like he's like a real genius there. Let's say that. Okay, so do you have patent on this thing, or have you filed patent? Is this
Yes.
like a
So we have filed 4 patents now, and for the method, for the device, for the design, for the AI part. So we do all this stuff. Yes,
this is
building
great.
something really interesting.
It's like one of those things you feel like should exist and it doesn't. and and in my mind I'm like battling that why there's nothing like this that exists. And then obviously my question is then, well, here's an opportunity for you, Serhii, and team to get the patent and put it out as fast as possible, right? So this is great. Okay. um very interesting. So tell us a little bit, how are you currently acquiring your customers, and also like things that you've tried that has worked and the things that probably hasn't worked up until now. Give us a little bit about what's been going on.
Yes. So we have started over with 2023 somewhere in February, and in 1 month we had a prototype in our hands. So we had some kind of a very similar an egg-shaped device was the first prototype till now till the manufacturing. This is the same basically shape and inside. So after 30 days, we have sent the first prototypes to the OBGYNs in Ukraine for the testing, and to the people like our friends and family who were trying to conceive or just were helping us. So from the very first month, we were already at the customers, and we were taking back the reviews. We were changing, I don't know, the design, so the stuff, like everything about it. The version that I have here in my hands is something like 26 or 27. So we did so many revisions and we were changing it. So the one very interesting channel is like speaking to your customers. So that's what we do from the very first day, like changing the idea basically, and what we have started and what we are doing now, changed together with the information we are getting from our customers. So we had a pre-seed round. We have finished it last winter, and since that we have created the manufacturing line. So now we are able to manufacture on a scalable levels. We are FDA listed and registered. We have these 4 patents pending, And we started our marketing activities this summer. So we first what we did, this is the awareness. So nobody knows that you can do like so easily, you can check your fertility levels. And fertility is something that we just only started. This is what is excited about this product and why I'm so like I'm so positive about it. So the more data we have, the more interesting insights we have from the hormonal balances and real life perspectives. So basically, nobody did thousands or tens of thousands photos of dried saliva and was not able to check some kind of other correlations that may be done not only about the fertility and estrogen spikes during the ovulation, but about the hormonal cycle, about how they like everything is working. So why is it so? Why you are feeling today like this, but not like that? Why is this changing? And having this the biomarker answer, which is very easy to use. So the best thing here that you don't need to spend any like big amount of your time. It's only 5 seconds. You open the device, you take out previous saliva, you put the new one, you close it, and then everything goes to your app. So you don't need any reviews. It's like 5 seconds per day. You don't need some kind of over exaggerated privacy to do the test with one drop of saliva in today's conditions. And that's why people are using it like a lot. Like for sure, we are addressing only women now with the fertility. But what we see that we can like develop into something great and something more useful, not only about fertility check-in treatment, like not treatment but diagnostics, but for to be a partner of your everyday life, to help you understand what kind of hormones and why you are having today, and maybe what's like why, what's going on, what can be improved. So that's what we are about today.
And currently, I guess your focus is to give it to go to direct to patients, like through advertising, or do you want to go through more like go to providers, GYNs, and then OBs, and through them you're distributing to their patients? What's the go to market strategy you are at right now? And also, how are you pricing it? Is it all out of pocket right now? And I'm guessing it's like everybody starts out of pocket, and then once you're approved, you're also trying to figure it out how it can be reimbursed if possible, because you're registering it as a device, so that might happen too. So yeah, talk to me about these two things, please.
Yes, so we started a bit D2C. We have done a lot of things this summer. So we were trying the Google ads, we were doing the Instagram, we were doing the Facebook ads, we were combining all it together, then doing the retargeting. So we were doing like any kind of such kind of ads and basically checking the A/B testing, trying to find out who's our main audience now, what kind of audience are, what it prefers, how everything is working. So D2C was our first market approach, and we are very glad, like we are very good, have a very good feeling about it. So we were not targeting sales at all. We were targeting basically the awareness, the brand awareness. We were gathering the followers, we were gathering the leads. So that's what our campaigns are about. But nevertheless, we have our sales done, not even making it as our main preference. So I can say that this is very positive for the company, which is doing some kind of fertility diagnostics, but not too positive for the mankind and humanity like at all. So the fertility problems are now in one of 6 families worldwide. So having a third kid somewhere when you are 30 plus years old is not so easy if you do it like a little bit before. And so that's where we are now. Everything is moving in this direction, and that's why people are searching for any kind of a solution. So this is a D2C. We also see ourselves in a B2B market as well, but we don't want to change the healthcare system. This is not our task today. We just don't want to do this. We want to help people live their better life. And for that purposes, we are searching for the right direction in B2B. And coming from Siemens, I do understand that doing B2B activities, I did only B2B sales. I was not in the B2C sales for sure. But doing such kind of activities takes time. And for the startup, the main what we have is basically time again. So if you move in fast, you are good enough. And that's why we started with D2C. But like a few words on the B2B idea. So we are testing the estrogen levels, which are rising high before the ovulation and after the ovulation. So basically, we are able to track 5 days, like 5 to 6 days fertile period, which might help during the IUI procedures. When you go to the IVF clinics, so you have two procedures that might be done. And the IUI, inter-uterine insemination, is one of it. So this is the moment when the fertilization is done at a very specific moment, when you need to know when the ovulation is ongoing. And our device can help to recognize the fertile window, and then people can go to the IVF clinic and recheck it. Not checking it daily or something, but just staying at home, this small device, it stays at home with the patient, and then they can check and the doctor can understand what's going on. This is something that we have in mind. We haven't started it now, but this is what we are also thinking about. Sure.
That's a very powerful use case. I mean, it's like basically what you're saying is the success of getting the IVF, uh, basically the egg when you have it to have that, you will tell the exact, or you're able to tell when is the best time to do that, and you proceed with that, which increases the success rate for IVF procedures anyway. So this is the use case you are saying, and you haven't
Yeah,
tested this.
yeah, so but not IVF, but one of the IVF
One
procedures.
of the IVF.
But in general, yes, yes. So when it's about IUI procedure, so yes, we are able to basically we are in general able to decrease the time between cycles when this is going to be done in the clinics, because we are at the patient, and and doctor and patient can schedule an appointment at the exact moment when they need to do this. Yes, that's the purpose and that's the value here.
Great. And about your pricing strategy, it is out of pocket right now, and what are you charging right now?
Yes. So now it's completely out of pocket. So we have a device which is charged $189 per the device. It includes 1 month free subscription, and then we are also subscription based. So each month we're now charging $9.99 per month.
Okay, so one-time device charge 189, and then there is subscription. And
Yes.
how long, I guess, typically people keep it right now, your
Uh,
device?
Yes. So now the first audience we touched is people trying to conceive, basically saying what was myself with my wife, and yeah. So my first kid was born basically. Yeah. So everything was fine, and we had the first success story with the very old oval, which was my son's microscope with the camera on it, and that works. Yes. So people are trying to conceive for about 6 months, like in general, because of the how healthcare system is working. But there are cases that it's longer. It's like it can take up to 1 year, 2 years. It really depends on what's going on with your personal health. And
Yeah.
this is something that we started with, but now we see that we are able to get something more from it, like for everybody, and provide some more value. So we want to yes. So that's what we're doing also.
Okay. And let me ask you this. What are your biggest challenges at the moment, especially as a CEO? What's keeping you up in the night at the moment?
Uh, Interesting question. So, when you're a startup company, you have everything going on. Like, and it's not always some good things, some bad things. It's just you always need to be aligned with your business. You don't have any kind of weekends that you can just switch off the phone and go out on vacations and just for 2 weeks, I don't know, or even for one day. It's even hard. So I can say that this is a challenge that I was not ready for. So I was living in such kind of environment for many years as a C-level manager. But yes, this is one side. The other side is now is the fundraising. So we started the round, and this is the main challenge today. So yeah, so I can like maybe I can tell more here. So I see that our users is our top priority, and this is something that we said in our previous company. It was an entrepreneurship. So you are in like an entrepreneur position. You go out from your company and speaking to your customers, and this is the main priority. But nevertheless, you still need to be the entrepreneurship, which is inside the company, and you need to manage your team. You need to manage your developers or the R&D or the manufacturing facilities, and you need to do this every single day. And now I see that for the startups, there are also the VCs and angel investments that are part of this process. The new guys basically that appeared in this, and you need to yes, you need to invest time for having all these conversations and treat them as a part of your team. Yeah, so that's handle all these basically apples and working with it is the main challenge.
Somebody explained to me like two things. One is like entrepreneurship in general. It's like entrepreneurship is this, you think it's about business and freedom and all that. It's like all those things are great. Entrepreneurship is all about how do you organize things internally, externally. That's what your job is. Master that, you are entrepreneur. I was like, wow, all right. This is I first time heard this year, and I was like, yeah, he's so right. Like now, as I'm running my business too, it's it's all the things. Sometimes it's just contracts, sometimes it's just like customer calls, sometimes it's just something on the deliverable side. So it's just crazy how it works. So I have realized that there is a lot of truth to this, that the real entrepreneurs are those, like, the saying that don't work in the business, on the business, and on the business is only possible if you are the best organizer or get best at doing that, organizing people, organizing everything. So that's remind me of that. And the second thing you said is about fundraising, right? So I guess tell us a little bit about what's your current traction in terms of how you are going about your story in fundraising, and then also tell us a little bit about your vision, like as a company. Where do you see it in 5 years? Where you want to see your company, and what's your long-term goal for the company?
Yes, so we started our seed round like 1 week ago. So the main idea why we need this round is to scale up the sales, which we have started, and we do understand the D2C market pathway. So we are understand the customer acquisition costs. We know what kind of audience are waiting for the devices, who can be our customers, and how can we bring them value. And the other side, so what I was telling about, so the more we work, the more data we have. So the more excited we are. So we are really, what we can see from the dried saliva photos is incredible. So we see that there are some more developments in it. We don't want to develop the hardware product more, but we want to develop only the AI side because we see some kind of correlations that is going on, and we want to achieve those goals and like develop the product. So this is basically the second part of the round why we started it. We are now raising 5 million as of today.
Got it. And what about the long-term goal? How are you looking at it? What's what is that company will look like in next 5 years, let's say?
So we want to be a lifetime partner and want to be a lifestyle device. We don't want to be like a totally medical device which helps you during your very struggled time or days that you are having. So we want to be near the patients. We want to be near the users. So we want to be every day on your table and measuring different bio conditions that we are able to see in the saliva. So we had some idea that we can be a very clear vision supporter for your health because of the photos that we are making, something like that.
Got it. So more of a product that people can keep in their shelves, like their toothpaste or brush, and use it as they are tracking their life, especially this one, which is very important because at the end, everybody wants to have kids, most of the people. And then from there on, this is what you want to see yourself, vision of your being that device in the people's houses. That's how you view
Yeah.
it.
So why we are sure about it, that people who are now using the device, they used 1.5 tests per day, basically like 3 tests per 2 days, because it's so easy to do. So then whenever they see the device at home or on the, I don't know, nightstand or on the kitchen table, it's not in the bathroom. So you don't need to go every day and do some kind of this stuff. So it's just somewhere on the table. And when you just see this, you open the device, you like take out the previous saliva, put a new one, close it, and that's it. So now we have like 1.5 tests per day. That really proves our plans to be a lifestyle companion.
Yeah, I mean, look, 100% easy. You just literally gave me a demo. It's that's how it takes. So it's I'm just more curious that why more people are not talking about it. And I'm like, this is the thing. Like, this is it. More people should be talking about this device. This is the easiest way. I almost feel like it's also at that convenience level. As a patient, I am thinking in this way, right? Hey, before I get any other thing, in our mind, I want to start with a product that's like easy to access and easy to get results first. And I feel I think like this fits in that, in my mind. Like, okay, the first product that I should go if I'm going in this direction of, tracking my, fertility or whatever I'm trying to do. But this is the easiest way to get it done, and then go to more complex devices or products as it goes, right? So I also feel like the ease of use just puts it, like in that stack, a lack of a better word, in the front for me. So this is how I view it. And I'm sure you're collecting feedback from a lot of people. What are you hearing directly from the patients about the usage of the device? And I guess more on the success story side, have you seen anyone who's just like used the device and then got to the, already conceived a baby or something?
Uh, so we were using it in the OBGYN's offices for many months. So for sure somebody already did that. I'm like not able to share this like today or now, but yes. So what I want to share, yes. So the ease of use is yes, for sure this is the first one. But what I see from all our reviews and from people which are using our device and our solution, that there is a very huge lack of education in the cycle tracking, in the knowing your like your hormone levels, your daily routine. What is the why the first leads to the second. So this is the questions we are getting from our users on daily basis. And the lack of education, it was also true for me. So I was not aware so much, even being the high level manager. So I knew like not so much. I was not so much aware. And the more we work on the women's health, the more I see that yes, this is true for the whole basically division, for the whole population. And I still have the goosebumps on it. So whenever I just imagine it, I just cannot understand how is it possible. So we have so many great solutions. We're doing so kind of in the diagnostics, I mean, and we're doing so many interesting things. And still, this is not implemented in women's health. So
Wow.
with all, we try to do this. Yeah, try to change it.
Okay. I'm sure hopefully once you are able to share stories, we would, I'm sure then people will see more impact of this. So that would be really interesting. All right. So last couple of questions. I like to go more on your, experience a little bit, like, if you could predict one major shift in healthcare delivery in next 5 to 10 years, what do you think it would be? It doesn't have to be necessarily related to fertility. It's just overall. I just want to hear your thought. What do you think that would be?
Uh, Healthcare will follow the patient. Diagnostics will follow the patient. So that's what I truly believe. I see the amount of data, how everything is working, and everything leads to the to the moment that patient is the center of the diagnostics and of the healthcare, and all the rest is like is on top of it. So I think that healthcare will be near the patient.
Got it. Okay, so more patient centric. I mean, we've been saying this a lot. I always say like, the core problems in healthcare we've always tried to solve is, first we always talk about affordability and accessibility, and then from there we moved into more patient consumerism, and then we say it's more about patient experience and getting, making sure patient centric care. And it's funny, these things doesn't change much over the years in healthcare, just from my experience. But I think it's changing a lot in a way, because things are changing in many different ways. Like, the tech is changing in itself, because in 2013, when I was selling the the telederm solution, there weren't any AI workflows. So when the somebody was messaging it, we had to manually field those messages, and it was all that, implementations were long. But now, down the line in current eyes, the same apps have like AI workflows, and everything is still solving the core problems, but it's just getting better and better, and there's multiplication effect. So I like to say, like, in healthcare, the problems don't change by itself, and then fundamentally we want the same thing, right? Like access, affordability, patient
Yeah.
centric, but we keep making them better, like 10x solution better, right? So that's always fascinating. All right, so last question. It's really more of a fun question I ask my guests. Um, you know, we would like to hear from you a thing, could be anything, hobby or anything that you feel is appropriate to share, that none of from your people in your professional circles knows about it, and this is your chance to tell them. Could be anything, like I said. What would that be? This is your chance to share.
Uh, yes, thank you for the question. So I think, like funny enough, my first big sale on export import operations from Ukraine was four containers, like 4C containers of chicken eggs. I really sold like about 5,000 boxes with 316 eggs in each box. So it really was. I was so much happy about it, and it was like one of the first very huge sales. And then now I have the egg-shaped device on my table every day, and I really think that this is a very good sign for me, like for the company and for everything. I still have the same feelings whenever I see the eggs. And
So life has come full circle for you, from getting those containers of chicken eggs to now building a device that looks like an
it
egg.
was like, yes, this is the wife. It changed. Yeah, it can be anything. Yeah.
That's really funny. Thanks for sharing it. Much appreciated. Thanks for your time. So, where can our listeners find you if they want to hit you up?
So we have a website which is ovul.ai. You can find a lot of information about our solution, what we do, how we do it, like everything. And if you have any questions, you can contact me via LinkedIn. So I'm also always very open.
All right. So, folks, you can check out their website, ovul.ai, ovul.ai. And Serhii is on LinkedIn. You can find him and reach out to him directly. And Serhii, this has been great. Thank you so much for sharing a part of your journey and what you're building. I personally feel that why are we not hearing more about this? So I'm hoping this will help, this medium will help, but also this is I think this is a total game changer. I actually see this more of from a marketing point of view. Like you said, it's a lifestyle device, or that's where you want to go with. So I actually see this more of a category play, and you're not positioning this as with existing category of devices, but more like a subcategory over, and that's how you will penetrate the market. And I almost feel like because the use is easy, it will automatically then penetrate into being that if we can get to X number of hands, then it gets to more hands faster. So I'm actually very gung-ho about it. And also you have patents, which makes it all the more credible. And one thing, again, pardon me, I didn't check your website much, but that needs to be on your website, the patents and everything front and center, because then it makes like this is new, right? And then why it does not exist, then I'm not questioning that why it does not exist, right? So
I
that
guess.
but yeah, this has been great. Thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much for the interview, for your questions. It was very interesting time. Thank you so much.